What's up everybody, today I wanted to talk a bit about a potential Fury Warrior build going into Dragonflight, featuring no Raging Blow and a ton of empowered Bloodthirsts and Bleeds. So this build revolves around the new Annihilator talent, which removes Raging Blow but increases your auto attack damage, and they also generate 4 additional rage. We combine this with talents that increase our auto attack speed, damage, and Bloodthirst to fuel it further. And to fill in the gaps left by Raging Blow's removal, we'll also talent into Whirlwind, Slam, and Execute talents, and I'll leave a link to the full build in the description. And if you like this type of videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So looking at the build, going down the left, we'd pick most of the Bloodthirst talents, so Fresh Meat for more enrage uptime, Blood Craze to get 15% crit on Blood first. If it doesn't crit, stacks up to 5 times and works when we cleave with Bloodthirst. Then you have Cold Steel, Hot Blood, so our Bloodthirst crits leaves a bleed that generates rage and deals a ton of damage. Then we have Deft Experience, so Bloodthirst gets a 1.5 sec lower cooldown, enabling us to spam Bloodthirst a lot more, and spread the Bloodthirst Bleed Gushing Wound a lot faster on AoE. We will also get Bloodborne, which increases Odin's Fury, Thunderous Roar, and Gushing Wounds bleed damage by 20%, and we will of course also be getting Thunderous Roar and Odin's Fury for 2 extremely potent AoE bleeds. On top of this, we take Thunderous Words, which increases Roar's dot time by 2 seconds, and all our bleed damage by 15% for even more bleed damage. And then we have Dancing Blades, so we get 30% attack speed and damage for 10 seconds when we pop Odin's Fury, which we combine with Avatar and Titan's Torment, so that we cast Odin's Fury whenever we cast Avatar and vice versa. So we always empower Odin's Fury with Avatar, and we get 2 sources to proc Dancing Blades from, and all of that attack speed gives us a ton more rage generation and damage. Then we of course have Storm of Swords, so that Whirlwind has a 7 sec cooldown but deals 70% more damage, and Slam has a 12 sec cooldown, generates 10 rage, and deals 100% increased damage. Combined with the Whirlwind talents in the Fury tree, as well as Whirlwind and Slam talents in the class tree for even more damage, and we'll use these as well to fill in gaps in our rotation, which to be fair does not happen a lot, except on AoE where you'll Whirlwind on cooldown to have Meat Cleaver up for everything. And on top of this, you'll take Ashen Juggernaut for that stacking execute crit, Sudden Death for freebie executes, and Massacre for more executes. Then you have Cruel Strikes for stronger executes, as well as Spear of Boostion for some spear action, cause who doesn't like cooldowns? Combined with Cruelty, which increases Annihilator's damage while enraged, and you'll also get things like War Machine and Wild Strikes from the class tree for more auto attack buffs, increased attack speed, more rage gain, etc, etc. And remember, everything that increases auto attack speed and rage generation synergizes with Annihilator since it's an auto attack talent. Now what truly brings this build together is the Recklessness talents, and more importantly Reckless Abandon, which makes Recklessness generate 50 rage, but more importantly Rampage greatly empowers your next 2 Bloodthirst or Raging Blows. Now because our auto attacks will generate a ton of rage for us passively, so as soon as we Rampage, we empower our next 2 Bloodthirst to become Bloodbath, which deals a ton more damage and has a lower cooldown. It's around the 1 second mark for me currently. Now this in turn enables you to mash out 2 Bloodbaths real fast, and by the time you've done so, you're pretty much able to Rampage again due to all the passive rage generation we have from Annihilator. And more often than not, you'll have a Sudden Death proc to fill in with in case you can't Rampage or if you aren't rage capped. So more often than not, you're just Bloodbath spamming into Rampage into more Bloodbaths and consuming execute procs whenever you get them. Now combine that with our cooldowns, Avatar, Thunderous Roar, Recklessness, and Spear of Boostion, you're an absolute beast, especially on AoE. Charge in, pop a Whirlwind into a Spear, Avatar, Wreck and Roar, the Wreck and Roar, which also pops Odin's Fury for you, so you cap out on rage and can instantly Rampage cleave, often twice in a row, and then continue cleaving Bloodbaths, applying Gushing Wounds to all mobs into more Rampage cleaves, and then Gushing Wounds also generates rage to fuel things even more on AoE. And Whirlwind with this lines up perfectly, so you'll have its cooldown back after 4 abilities, and it does a ton of of damage as well, due to all the talents buffing Whirlwind. Now, the feeling you get when you charge into a pack, pop everything and just decimate him is insanely satisfying, until you realize you gave the tank about half a second to get aggro and then you die. But apart from that, now on single target it works really well as well, slightly less spammy than on AoE due to a tad less rage generation. However, this just means that you'd most of the time go 2 Bloodbaths into Whirlwind or Slam, then Rampage, and of course execute if sudden death procs, which it does a lot, especially with the new tier set which increases Fury Warrior's chance to get sudden death procs, which fits this build perfectly since you'll run into gaps sometimes, rarely it has happened, but you'll always have something to fill it with, the gap that is, which is usually execute. I love execute. Now all of this being said, this is beta, take everything with 1 to 10 grains of salt. Things can drastically change at Blizzard's whim whenever they do tuning passes. They'd be like, undetected, which I honestly hope they don't. I really like this build and I love the fact that we can build stuff like this now. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Annihilator. Don't forget the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. It really helps me out. I stream progression and testing on Twitch, Stanky Gaming. Also make sure to check out my Patreon if you want to help support me, my work, and my goal of upgrading my computer. As a patron, you get access to the Stanky Discord, among other things. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.